Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, there was a article that was put out on Vox because it's starting to getting out there with the mainstream corporate, white media. The thing that we've been talking about forever, that Biden don't have the black vote like talking about. They even have to admit this. And we see this, being talked about plenty. Now, this article that's on Vox, there's only like two sections of it that I want to take time to go through. That's kind of just, important to what we're talking about here. Now, they're talking about for sure the erosion of, the vote. Now, they mentioned, of course, in the article, Black and Latino. I don't know what Latinos do, when it comes to their voting. Only thing that I do know is that more of them vote Republican than Democrat. That's for sure. They votes are split. If anything, at the most, they split. They don't vote one party. That I do know. So I don't know why you're trying to put black voting and Latino voting. It's not the same. It is not the same. But just want to make sure we preface that, because matter of fact, you shouldn't attach nobody to black people. I'm totally against that, because every community have different issues. So they said here in this article we want to start at, it said the term non-white voter itself has a lot of complexity. It's saying Democrat itself only is partially helpful. They say support among black Americans for Biden, they say, for example, is much higher than among Hispanic or Latino voters, which statistically would be true. Latinos really don't feel Biden like that at all. And we know the group of people that really support Biden is the Boule, members. And we know the older black people. They have done a poll that said that voters 18 to 45 don't support Biden like that in the black community. They continue to talk about Latino voters tend to be younger than black voters. They say Democrats seem to face bigger hurdles to retaining support from black and Latino men compared with women. They say while Biden specifically is underperforming with lower income voters, they say of color, say bad feelings about the economy, and they say are still the single largest issue affecting Biden's standing with all voters, including, they say, voters of color. I always said this, and I don't like it, but saying people of color and all that's just, to me, a remix on colored, white and colored. I keep saying that, and I don't know how these people still get away with that crap. It's like, okay, you can talk about white people, and they're the only group you should talk about, and all these other groups of people that have some, at least, form of melanin to them, whether it's minimal or, abundant, they're just people of color. They're voters of color. It's like that is a white supremacist way of even describing people. You understand? But why is it that we want to focus on black women? Why more black women will vote for the Democrats than black men? It's very simple. The Democrat Party has invested heavily into black women. The Democrat Party can give programs to black women that they never give to black men. And black men are the enemy. Black women are not the threat, and black women aren't an enemy. No one likes black women like that. I'm not saying black women just aren't a threat to the white man. They not. Black women could be the Trojan horse. Black women could be the sleeper cell. Black women could be the strongest agent that we have. If these sisters understand, their position in helping the community, because they will allow a black woman in these corporations. They allow a black woman in some of these boardrooms, and they allow a black woman into different ways. They're talking about us and whatever. And if she just play a role where they thinking like, oh, she cool, she on the team with us, and yet the whole time she giving the game to everybody. For instance, they had this one sister I used to work with, and, she would be ear hustling them people all the time. And if she ever hear them saying something about any of us, she'll text us, or she'll pull us to the side and say, hey, yeah, they right. Hey, they talking. They saying this and that and the third. So just, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, watch this and watch that one. See, that's the kind of sisters that we need right there. It's going to be in them offices. It's going to be at these government facilities, working for the government, whatever they working at, and just passing that information to the community, passing that to brothers, letting brothers know what's going on. Y'all can do way more, because they won't let us get into that unless we are buck broken as black men. Because when you're buck broken, you're not a threat. If you are a black man who has some deep and bass in your voice, if you're a black man who is confident, this is why they hate Coach Prime so much, because they can't stand a confident black man. The greatest threat to the white supremacist male is a confident black man, because that kind of energy spreads very quick. Not only it spreads in our community, but it spreads in everyone else's community. And naturally, more people are drawn to us, not to the white supremacists. The white supremacists got a rule in fear and violence. We don't have to do that to anybody. We just naturally have a personality that draw people to us without doing anything fearful or with violence. You understand? That's why they can't stand about us. They hate that about us, that everybody's drawn to us. Go back to the situation of Coach Prime. Coach Prime is taking a team that was 1-11, and look what he has done in a short period of time. That was a phenomenal game I watched last night. Colorado State was being extremely dirty. I mean, dirty. I mean, they went in there to hurt somebody. I mean, some of them players should have been suspended. That coach right there, you know he was working for the folks. So the folks hate Deion, hate him. And for what? Because they can't stand a confident black man. They hate that. They hate a black man that everybody respects. Boy, they hate that. Because everybody respect that. The black women respect it. People all over the world respect it. So they're like, oh no, we got to take him down. We gotta do something to shake his confidence. We gotta do something. So how usually white supremacist male fight is to try to sabotage us. So they never can beat us one-on-one. They never can. That's why I say they are the weakest group in the world. But that's okay, because we always come out on top anyway. So when it comes to men and why a lot of black men don't fool with the Democrat Party is, one, they don't want to see us shine. We know this. Two, they will not allow us to have any kind of program, because they understand if you help the black man, you help the black community. The Democrat Party is the one that ushered in mass incarceration of black men. They ushered it in. Of course, the Republican friends are assisting that too. Republican states are part of it too, not just Democrats. It wasn't a Republican that drafted the 1994 crime bill. It wasn't Donald Trump. It was Joe Biden. And the Democrats and the Congressional Black Caucus went along with it. They didn't stand against it or anything. The Democrats never offered nothing to us as black men. What do they offer to us? Condemnation, shame, putting us down, using our women in our community to talk down to us. Remember Tiffany Cross? You remember how she said we just need to listen to black women? Just straight trying to emasculate black men. They don't use white women, Hispanic women, or any other woman from other groups to talk down to their men and say, you need to listen to the white woman. Hey, Hispanic men, get in line and listen to Hispanic women. Hey, Asian men, get in line and listen to Asian women. That's exactly what was said on MSNBC to black men. And black men has had enough. And we understand where it comes from. You're using black women to do it, but we understand that it comes from the white supremacists in the Democrat Party. And even the woman who said it, Tiffany Cross, y'all took her show away from her. Because she was a little too sassy at times for y'all. Because you don't mind her getting us told, but when she got Tucker Carlson told and started going after the people in their community, no matter what side of the political aisle, hey, wait a minute. Tiffany going too far. She don't supposed to be talking to white men like that. She don't supposed to be talking to black men like that. You understand? And then Tiffany, I haven't seen her on TV since. I haven't. Now let's continue. Now they said the state of the economy is objectively improving. They say there's no recession in sight. I beg to differ on some of that. They say inflation is improving. I haven't seen it. They're saying unemployment remains low. They say those material conditions take longer to improve, say when you're on the lower end of the economic spectrum. They said that this is similar to 2012 when Barack Obama had the same issues with the economy and dissatisfaction with the economic recovery. They said, but just like then, they said we have to tell a story and keep talking about our solutions, a Christian Ramos said, a Democratic Latino consultant. He continued to say, we have work to do. We have time to do it. And everything that I've seen when people hear about what we've done, they like it. It moves these undecided voters to our side. They keep saying that they have time. No, you don't. You don't have time. Let me tell you why you don't have time. The filming of this video is September 17, 2023. Look at how quick 2023 has even passed, folks. Half of the month of September is almost over. We're going to be looking at October, real like this. November, December. This year is just about gone, 2023. The Democrats don't have time. They don't. And they really think that they can just say something to black people. They can put some shields out there. They can have Jason Lee coming out and being rude to black folk. You know what I'm saying? You think you can use him because he's somebody new you're using now, right? And you think that's going to work. Black men is going to be your thorn on your side because we're not playing with y'all. Because we never benefited from the Democrat Party. Not one time. You've done nothing for black men. You got black men incarcerated and you're not trying to get them out of there. You caused the biggest issue in our community. Prior to that 94 crime bill, we didn't have so many black men in prison like that. But after that, it exploded. But let's continue. Let's say the youth, of the average, black or Latino voter also complicates the picture. Now, listen what they're saying. Young people complicate it. They say younger voters tend to be dissatisfied with Biden. They say, but that does not mean they are switching sides to vote for Republicans in mass. Cox argues that distinguishing between Biden and the Democrat Party is important to understand this dynamic. So while younger voters, of color, might not want to say they're Biden supporters at this point, they still have an affinity for the Democratic Party and its identity as the more progressive force in national politics. Young people don't have an affinity for the Democrat Party. No, they don't. They sick and tired of y'all. They definitely don't want to see Biden in there again, if you want to just be real. Y'all don't even want to choose another Democrat, right? If you know Biden is that toxic, choose another Democrat. Now, they say that if you look at the Democratic Party among young people, it tends to be more positive than views of Biden. So it's possible that Biden has artificially deflated support just because of who he is. They say his age, his background, his approach to politics, him being an old school politician, a party that has increasingly become more progressive and wants more dynamicism, in their leaders. And the dissatisfaction also shows up in polling about Biden's accomplishments. Older voters are more willing to give Biden credit than younger voters. Credit for what? What did he do that made the lives better of anybody? The only thing the people who should be giving him credit is Ukrainians. They should be giving him credit. The people that should be giving him credit is illegal migrants. They should be giving him credit. The Asian community should be giving him credit as well, because, hey, he did sign the COVID-19 bill that gave them a protection. They should be excited about him, but you see, they haven't showed up for Biden either. They should be the biggest advocates for Biden. And I still say it's interesting how the Democrats don't call out the Asian community for this. Why aren't you supporting Biden wholesale? Every Asian American should be supporting Biden based off what he's done for them. I know black people. If Biden done something specifically for black people would be giving Biden all kind of praise, appreciation, and they will show up to vote for him. That's why these other groups, y'all keep on trying to invest into these other groups. Y'all still don't get it. Black Americans are the foundation of this country and have way more invested into this country than any of these other groups that have came to this country. And y'all still don't get it. When these other people left their homeland, if they wasn't loyal to the places they come from, they're never going to be loyal to America. Why? They weren't loyal to the people they come from. Now let's continue. They say some of that gap, it can be explained by different ways. So younger people consume political information. And they say there's lots of reasons. You say there's more TV channels other than 3. They say there's social media. They say younger Black and Latino folks are acting much differently than their mothers and fathers. Thank God they are. They say this means that there's going to be more work needed. Most of these campaigns are running broadcast TV commercials because that's where older people that are the regular voters are consuming information. And you're not reaching these younger, they say, Black and brown voters. I don't know why they keep using the term brown, because they don't label themselves as brown. They don't. They either say they Latino or Hispanic. I don't know where the brown come from. Now they say they're consuming all the information on mobile devices and streaming services. Yes, they are. Even people that watch our content, they consuming it that way. And you have a lot of people that just will not give up the old way. They won't. They trying to take that to the end, and that's why they're going to stay losing. It's because you got to move with the times. You got to move with the culture. Exactly what you got to do. Now, I say there's a cultural divide, and say as well. Say Black and Latino voters tend to be a bit more conservative on social issues than the white college-educated voters. They say they have been growing more Democratic in the Trump era, as reflected by the varied opinions by Black and Latino voters on abortion, immigration, gender identity, and crime. So even they're admitting, you see, well, some of you like to come here and get upset with me about my positions on, definitely immigration, my, positions on the economy, my positions on I just believe in the traditional family. I got to keep it just there. I'm not, because, on YouTube, I can't really go too deep into that other conversation in the traditional family, and just not being one to promote alternative lifestyles. With the traditional family, everything that comes along with that. We want our children to be children. We don't want our children introduced to things they shouldn't be introduced to. Let them watch SpongeBob. Let them learn the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. We shouldn't be having anyone who's grown dressing in an opposite identity to be gyrating or doing anything in front of children. That's really a lot of position. And crime also. Nobody wants crime. Let's call it what it is. Abortion, we understand in the Black community that it was specifically targeted to get rid of Black children. So we can't wholesale support that either. So yes, a lot of our thought process would be considered quote unquote conservative. And because that's just normal. It's not nothing with politics. It's just normalcy, right? Now, they said that it was written before. It said that more moderate leanings don't mean, they say, non-white voters are running to the GOP, but it does suggest that Democrats have more work to do to overcome the feeling among some non-white voters that they are not represented in the Democrat Party's more progressive identity. Well, actually, the progressive identity is the one that supports open borders, alternative lifestyles, doing for everybody else except Black people. That's actually the far left progressive side, actually. It's not really your moderate Democrat that's actually pushing that. Now, I say across most of the conversations that they had with the party insiders, one thing was clear is that Biden's campaign, the Democratic apparatus supporting him, are off to a good start. They're lying to him and they're lying to themselves. He said they've made the right hires, they say, of Black and Latino staffers to guide efforts with voters of color. They say they've made huge early investments in advertising to Black and Latino voters in battleground states. Investing in Boulay Martin is not a good investment. Let's be honest with you. They said launch outreach efforts specifically targeted at Black and Latino men. I have not seen any of that. They say, and hosted engagement events in Mississippi, Florida, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. They say the next few months will be crucial in seeing whether this engagement begins to pay off, which it will not. They say, and whether this softer support for Biden bottoms out. They said, if you're asking me about Joe Biden, the first thing I'll say, well, you need a person of color leading the campaign. They say, check. They say, do you start really early? They say, well, they started early, whether it's the DNC or the campaign are building back together, a Democratic aligned outside group. We need to admit that there is an erosion in these constituencies. They say, but that we have plenty of time to get it back to close where it needs to be. Once again, You don't have the time because you already lost black men. The only black men that you have right now is the black men who are afraid, black men who are stuck, the civil rights generation black men, you got them. And that's really it, right? Black men who are the straight, free thinking black man, for sure. Black men who are entrepreneurs, black men who want to take the lead like they're supposed to, they can't vote for you because voting for the Democrats is supporting emasculating the black man. It's why would we support a party that uplifts Tiffany Cross emasculating the black man on national TV? That was very not only disrespectful, but that was embarrassing to have a black woman doing that on national TV to black men. And then attacking other black men in the process, telling them not to listen to Kevin Samuels when he was alive, or listen to Tariq Nasheed or anybody else she was mentioning. Those men wasn't even on the program to defend themselves. Sitting up here telling black men to listen to black women, but tell them not to listen to black men. Black men are sick and tired of that crap. And it's all come from the Democrat Party because they don't respect black men. That's really what it is. When you don't respect black men, do you think we're going to show up for you? No. I've been seeing the disrespect for the black man. Let me tell you what the disrespect is. And black women have even called this out. When you refuse to have black men in positions, I'm talking about real black men, not black men who's soft-spoken, not them kind of black men, not buck-broken black men. And when I mention buck-broken, I'm not talking about a person, what they do in their bedroom either. Because you can be buck-broken and got a wife at home. They always want the buck-broken black man, the black man that's fearful, who isn't confident, who's afraid of their job, want to be a certified raccoon, them kind of black men. And brothers see that. Why we want to support that kind of party? No. Now, Antoine C. Wright said Democratic strategists working with the DNC to support Biden and reach black voters echoed this explanation and noted that it's encouraging to see early investment from the Biden campaign and the DNC and specifically reaching black and Latino men. Where is this outreach, ladies and gentlemen? I haven't seen it. I'm a black man. I'm a black man on the platform. I ain't heard from him, right? It's interesting. A black man like myself, or I think, they mentioned earlier Tariq Nasheed and any other black man, we have the reach to talk to a lot of black people and even black men. And yet they don't try to have a conversation with us. You know why they don't want to talk to us? Because we're going to be asking, okay, fine. You want us to talk to our prospective audiences about Democrat. What are you going to do for black people? What are you going to do? Because, see, I'm not going to tell them to vote for you and you're not going to do nothing. I don't care about no bill. I'm talking about, no, I don't care about no bills you pass. What are you going to do for black people? And matter of fact, you need to do it before the election because we don't trust you. All that, well, just get me in, and then when I get in, I'll do it. You had one time to do that, and we don't believe you. If you're going to do something for black men, do it now. Do it now. Do it. And when I say black men, I'm talking about for black people. Do it right now. And then when we see you do something specifically for black people, then we can say, okay, yeah, we probably can go vote for you then because you did it. We would never believe a Democrat saying, get me in there and then I'll do something for you, because Biden was the last one to screw that off. So y'all got to do something for black folks way before the election. But let's continue. So he continued to say that we tend to be called low propensity voters to say, but I call them low priority voters. They're the number one targets of misinformation and disinformation intentionally to suppress our voting or keep us from participating or being motivated to participate. Let's stop right there. So here we go. He's a black man himself, and he just disrespected black men. If a person is going to target you for quote unquote misinformation and disinformation, they're going to do it to everybody. They're not going to specifically target one group, right? And even if a person is doing that, Well, basically what you're saying is black men are so dumb that we can't hear when a person is giving us misinformation. We can't go research something on our own to come to our own conclusions, right? How is someone suppressing our vote or keeping us from participating or being motivated to participate? We ask the question, participate for what? What are you going to give us for our participation? See, let me tell you what they call misinformation. When you tell them what's the point of voting for them, they haven't done nothing for black people. Why should we go out there? See, oh, well, that's misinformation because he did the infrastructure bill. Once again, what did he do for black people? Nothing. That's accurate. Well, you telling them that is suppressing the vote. How? Suppressing you from voting is either doing something with administration. In other words, I figured out a way to stop you from voting, right? That's the only way I can really suppress your vote, is stop you from voting that way with paperwork. Even in Texas, that has voter ID. Guess what? You go to the voting booth. You say, hey, you want to vote? The first thing they ask you for is, do you have an ID? You give them your driver's license. I don't know a black person that don't have a driver's license unless they got theirs suspended or they couldn't get one. You give them your driver's license. They print out your little paper. You go over there to the voting booth, put in the code, and then you vote. I have not met one person that tries to restrain me as a black man. I have not met one person that has ever tried to restrain me as a black man to stop me from voting. And the majority of you who listening, male or female, have not been prevented from voting by nobody. You act like we live in a time of the Klan out there with guns and torches daring us to go in there and vote or something. That's not going on. So stop with that suppressing the vote crap and not being motivated. No, your actions are not motivating people to participate. Democrats. It's not nobody else, it's you. Now, he continues to say we have to work overtime to make certain that we continue to invest in black voters and invest in black talent and keep us engaged even in a non-election years. That Democrats working to elect Biden are also optimistic that voters will begin to see the contest as less of a referendum on the incumbent president and more of a choice between Biden and Trump once the contours of the GOP primary field becomes clearer. As Ramos said that once that divide becomes clear, it'll be easier to pitch Biden to non-white voters, but that pitch requires talking about status threats. It said that the betterment of one group of voters isn't coming at the expense of others, and that a rising tides lift all boats is as a way to offset potential cultural criticisms of Democrats by the GOP. So the Democrat strategy is this. Now, we hear the term rising tides lift all boats. We already know what that's about, right? We thoroughly reject rising tides lift all boats because our boat has never risen. Our boat is always capsized and drowned. Everybody else's boat rises, but not the black boat. So their strategy is, well, we can't really do much about the criticism of Biden, so let Trump become the GOP nominee. Once Trump is officially the GOP nominee, we're going to use a fear campaign and say, oh, you got to pick Biden because, that Trump, he going to put you back in slavery. He going to take everything from you. Biden's taking everything, and the Democrats are taking everything from people. Hello, Chicago, New York, y'all two in particular. Y'all tax dollars are literally being taken from you and given to others. You can't even use your own tax dollars. I guarantee you, Trump not going to do that. So that's a strategy. Fearmonger, fearmonger, fearmonger. Attack you if you're not afraid of the fearmongering. And you better believe all our names are going to be mentioned here in the next year or so. Trust me, it's coming. Boulay Martin is going to go on a vicious attack of all of us, and I'm here for it. I hope he do it because I have fun with that. That's what the podcast is for, is to respond to people like Boulay Martin. I wouldn't respond to everybody, but any of them shields that mention my name, I respond to you because I have a right to respond if you mention my name. But that's a strategy, fear-mongering you. And we ain't afraid of no freaking Trump. From 2016 to 2020, guess what? If you listening to this podcast, you was all right. You lived. You got up every day. You went to work, came home, paid your bills, fed your dog, chilled out, went to concerts, football games, did all kind of things, take vacations, all that mess that you went through from 2016 to 2020. And you still here. Ain't nobody afraid of no doggone Trump. Like that fear mongering, like I said, that don't work. That's over. That is so over. And we over that too. Fear mongering to me is no different than pandering to me. Like pandering sickens me, and fear mongering I think sickens me even more. Ooh, black people. Ooh, you go, oh my God, this the most important election of your lifetime. You remember we did the podcast about that? They've been saying that every election, this is the most important election of your lifetime. Oh, you can't let him get in there. Oh boy, look what he's gonna do to black people. Okay. Now I say Democratic insiders also pointed to another fact that while support is lagging for Biden and the Democrats, there's no clear signs in polling or in real life of a mass exodus of voters, and say of color to the Republican Party. They say we've seen this erosion of support for Democrats. They say, but there hasn't been a ton of evidence that these folks are flocking to the GOP. They say what we're talking about is Democrats can no longer rely on these voters to be solid Democrats. He said it doesn't mean that they're not winnable, but that means that both parties seem to be well positioned to capture this increasing block of voters, meaning they got to compete because Republicans have an opportunity to get these voters and Democrats have an opportunity to get these voters. And I love it. I love it. I love it. The day of them just having these black people who just straight Democrat voters. Like I told y'all before, every year or every 2 years, they are losing a lot of their electorate due to just life happening. The people are passing away. And the people who they got to deal with and who they really don't want to deal with is that block of voters where they got to earn it, where they got to give something. You understand? It is a good thing to have Republicans and Democrats fighting for your vote. That's good, because then you could lay demands at that point. When you just give a person your vote and they don't have to work for it, they don't have to give you crap. You understand? And even Republicans are starting to understand and say, wait a minute, hold on. I think we got a little shot with them. I say, man, so yeah, Republicans, you got a shot? So what you offering? What you offering black people? Because, hey, the vote's for sale. I've been saying that. The vote is for sale. And if y'all not selling nothing I'm buying, I won't vote for that one of y'all. That's what we take it. That's what the new voters are saying. Give us something that we could vote for. And if none of y'all want to give it, don't worry about it. We chilling at the crib. We good. We're not doing this. Well, I got the lesser of two evils. No. We don't believe in being evil. That's what the new voters are saying. We don't believe in evil. Well, I got to vote for him because he a little bit better than this. No, I ain't got to do crap. I ain't got to give a vote to now one of you. Now they say still these margins matter. They say though 2024 is not likely to be the year that Republicans win a majority of black and Latino voters, as they're polling this far out, say it does paint a picture of lower enthusiasm that could turn into lower turnout for Biden and congressional Democrats. As Andrew Prokop explained, and say the polls conducted over the last year has told a consistent story. It's a one of near even support as a for Biden and his Republican rivals in battleground states and nationally. They say the lower numbers among black and Latino voters are equally consistent with this finding, and that makes the mission for Democrats leading these campaigns even more urgent. As they talked about, and they kept saying that if Donald Trump was to get just 20% of the black vote, Biden's never going to win. Just 20%. He got 12 last time. And I'm going to tell you, more and more black men, I'm telling you, more and more black men that I talk to saying they're going to vote for Trump. And black women, they not telling that story. They better get with that program and that story. There are black women who have said, I'm going out there voting for Trump. I'm sick of these people. So you're not only losing black men, you're losing black women too. And I would say the more successful black women are, the more they're talking that way. Black women who got, degrees, especially black women who got businesses and understand what the Democrats do to affect businesses and harm these black women who have their own businesses. So they are right when they say that with younger voters, the Democrats got to fight for a vote. They don't have the vote wholesale, and I love it. That makes it equal, that makes it fair, and that give us a better position as black people to actually get something out the deal. That's good news, actually. They're admitting this, that they don't have it like the old people. The old people, they got them. That's why they ain't had to do nothing for the old people. Because the old people like, I'm going to vote Democrat. But the new people saying, I ain't got to do nothing. Hey, let me know what you're selling, and I'll see if I want to buy. So Democrats, you don't have time. Because the Republicans, and what I'm starting to slowly see them do, it starts to slowly reach out and see what the deal is. But we're going to ask them the same question. If a Republican come over here and say, hey, we want to talk, okay, fine. What are you going to do for black people? I want to know. I got to know. The Republicans not going to get no harsher questions than what the Democrats will get. Oh, you getting the same. But see, the difference with the Republicans, they can say this. Well, hey, residents of Chicago, if you get me in here, look, that these people, I'm getting them out. They're affecting you. They're taking your tax dollars. They're doing this. They're doing that. You're not getting job. A black person in Chicago ears gonna say, oh yeah, that really could help me right now. Because look at what's happening in my city. Black people in New York can hear the same thing right now. So yeah, look what's happening in my city. Yeah, I can rock with that. What else you offering also outside of that? What else you got? You know what I'm saying? What did you see the other day in New York? What did you see? The Democrats sticking the script and want the American dream for people that's not even American citizens. While we got homeless people in New York is not even experiencing the American dream. They're experiencing concrete. And listen, I wouldn't want to be homeless in New York. Your Lord, oh Lord. I don't see how y'all deal with it. Them big rats, whoo! I never seen rats so big in my life. Is when I went to New York. I don't see how y'all, man, look, if I had to be the mayor of New York, that would be my mission, is to eradicate rats. I'm like, I want the best exterminators from the country. What do we need to do? What we need to do? We need to destroy the rat population. I never seen a rat so big in my life till I went out there, and that was in freaking Manhattan. I never seen a rat so big. So imagine you sleeping on the street and you got these big old mama rats about that doggone big crawling by you or crawling on you. You trying to sleep on the street. But yet these people who just came over here sleeping in a row hotel while you sleeping on the street trying not to get bit by a doggone rat. That's not fair and that's not right. So a person could be like, yeah, I'm definitely I'm hearing that. I'm feeling that what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because black people are tired. Black people, like that press conference was disgusting in New York. That was utterly disgusting. With AOC and the rest of them. Why do we want to vote for that? We're not trying to vote for our own demise. So yeah, the Republicans, if you got something, hey, let's talk. Yeah. Oh yeah. We always said the vote is up for sale. Because you got some people out here who will be like, they will speak against the Democrats, but then when we talk about when it comes to Republicans, well, we shouldn't just go to Republicans either. Like, well, then you just a Democrat. You just mad about the Democrats at that point when you're talking like that. If you want to give a referendum on the Democrats, then listen to the other side. If the other side don't want to give you nothing either, then don't give them your vote at all. I don't know what like. Don't be so militant against the Democrats, but then when it comes to the other side, you still basically a Democrat. I don't understand that. If you're going to criticize the Democrats not willing to even listen to the other side or even vote for the other side, then stop talking bad about the Democrats. Stop. Because if you're going to talk bad about the Democrats and still go vote Democrat anyway, well, yeah, they don't do nothing for us, but, I don't think I can vote for the other side. Well, just stop criticizing Democrats because you're going to vote for them anyway. I can't stand black folks who do that. Criticize the Democrats, But then you were talking about, well, shoot, man, I see what the Republicans got to say. Oh, no. No, that ain't the answer either. That ain't the answer. Okay. Well, voting for the Democrats is the answer? You complaining all day, but saying they not the answer? Well, they got racists over there, and the Democrats got racists too. So you go to your job, it's racist that's controlling your job, it's racist police, it's racist at the grocery store, it's racist at the doctor's office, it's racist at the gas station, it's racist everywhere. And you still go to all them places and do what you got to do. So please, because they racist, you're not going to, I don't care how racist you are. All I care about is what I can get out of you. Even the racists that hire you as an employee, they don't have to like you. All they want you to do is do that job to make them some money. That's it. So that's how I feel about voting. I don't care if who cares? If you don't want to deal with nobody that's racist, just leave America. That's the truth. Racism is built in the foundation of America. Everything we do has racism in it, no matter what it is. The NFL is predominantly black men, and look how racist the NFL is. So stop. Because I don't hear nobody trying to talk about they trying to go live in some African country as a norm. There's a minority of us that talk like that, so you want to eventually make our way to the continent, but it's not the majority. You're going to deal with some racism, period, in this country. But don't criticize Democrats if you're going to vote for them anyway, because to me, that's stupid. You shouldn't even waste your breath. But the Democrats understand they're in trouble. They understand, and I love it. I love it. You got 2024 coming up, then the midterms in 2026. Remember, every 2 years that go along, the Democrats are losing more and more of their older voters. And that's what's making them afraid. They are petrified of this, that they actually got to give something to black people. So actually, y'all, we are becoming more and more in a great position. A lot of you are more educated now. A lot of you understand more. They can't pander to you. They can't shuck and jive to you. That's not working. See, the older voters, they can do that to them. To us, we're offended with pandering. We're offended with talking down to us, what Jason Lee did, right? We're not putting up with it. We're going to confront every shield that does this election cycle. So definitely send those videos. If I haven't seen it yet, please send me those videos of shields talking down to black people. Because, yeah, we got to confront them so we can educate you on not only what they said, but how to respond to it. Because the days of Democrats just doing this, them days are done.